Hi everyone, this is Lisa Marie from Artistry by Lisa Marie, and today I am coloring with markers and colored pencils, and we're gonna see how this goes today because I am getting over being very sick. I hope everyone is having a fantastic year so far. For those of you who don't know, I have two small kids. They're 5 and 3, and they love to share their germs with me. So we started the new year with head colds all around, and for some people the head colds turned into beautiful sinus infections, and that was fun. And those last a long time. Sinus infections last forever. And just as we were getting over the sinus infections, we got hit with a stomach bug. And if you've never been in a house with 4 people all being sick to their stomach at the same time, I can assure you it is very unpleasant. It is really, really rough. So we're just getting through this. Getting past it a little bit. And I'm finally getting back to doing some coloring here. Woohoo! So what I'm doing now is I'm going to be doing markers and colored pencils. So first I'm just laying down some markers. I like to use markers as sort of an underpainting, so an under layer of color. And then I color over the markers with colored pencils. So a lot of layering of colors. And with Valentine's Day coming up, I thought this page would be kind of cute, kind of fun. I know everyone thinks of Valentine's Day as, romantic, but I like to think of it as just sort of the day when you can celebrate, many forms of love. There's the romantic love, but there's also, the love you can have for friends, love you can have for your, furry companions, love for yourself, self-care. Like, I think coloring is self-care, actually. So, self-care is a form of love. Love of books. Lots of love to be celebrated, other than just the romantic kind. Love of good health. I really love when everyone's healthy in my house. This is cute, her kissing the baby goat. I drew this coloring page and I was just having so much fun drawing that baby goat. Thought it was adorable. Oh, my heat just kicked on. If you hear that whooshing sound. It's kind of cold outside today. And what I'll do also for you guys is I'm gonna put the names of the colors that I use in the video description so you don't have to guess, because I am absolutely terrible at remembering to say out loud the names of the colors as I'm using them. I kind of get distracted, just want to zone out and color. It's also why I don't do a lot of just talking videos. If you notice, a lot of my videos are sped up real quick, and then I, can quickly talk over them. It's because when I color, I get pretty quiet. Get that a little more blended. Alright. I'm going to focus on her first, the girl. And you can see I chose my palette beforehand. Tried to figure some colors that might be pretty. I know some people just sort of wing it, they can just start coloring and pick colors as they go, but I noticed I am very slow when I do that. I'm already slow. I'm a very slow colorer. But when I have to pick colors while I'm coloring, I slow down a lot. And if you're anything like me, you don't want to just sit there watching a video where someone's just sort of sitting and staring at colors. Not exactly fun. So try to make it a bit more enjoyable for all of you by doing a little work beforehand. The markers I'm using are Ohuhu. They're blendable, and I use the brush tips mostly. The other end of these are chiseled, a little more harsh, blunt line, which can be useful for filling in, like backgrounds, big broad spaces, but for this, like this precise tight spot between the nose and the leaf here, the fine tip is way more useful. Although I am noticing, with me not feeling the best, my coloring today is also not as precise as usual, which is an interesting observation for me. Do you hear that pitter-patter outside? It is raining? Hailing? Whatever it is, it's hardcore. Okay, so with her hair and skin, I just did two colors for the underpainting, a darker and a lighter. Um, with her sweater, I'm going to be doing 3 colors, so a dark, medium, and a light. There's a bit of fun texture going on with this shirt. So I thought it would be good to have a dark, medium, and light to emphasize the ripples or the folds in the material. Gonna do a little bit of overlap with my markers. And they blend, it softens the edges. How's that looking? That's fun. You still don't always know. Just because I picked the palette beforehand doesn't guarantee it's gonna look good. And for me, coloring is more of a fun relaxation time. When I need to be precise, you know, if I do I do, you know, custom pet portraits quite a bit for people. When I have to do those, I have to be super precise. That's when I'll, you know, test colors together beforehand. You know, I don't just pick the palette. I do tests. I measure facial proportions. It's a whole process when I do my, you know, custom portrait orders. So when I can do coloring like this is a lot more relaxing for me. Not that I don't enjoy doing, you know, custom pet portrait orders. I love drawing custom portraits. It's just, you know, a bit more stressful because I have to be precise. Okay, so there's the underlayer for her. Next, what I'm gonna do is go back over some of this marker work I've done with some pencils. Start with her hair. Just gonna do, and I again have my palette, you know, picked aside here. So for her hair, I only did 2 colors for the underpainting, but for the top layer of color, the pencils, I have a dark, medium, and light. Browns, oranges, chosen. I'm actually very relieved I was able to do this coloring today. My kids bounced back. I mean, it is amazing how quickly my kids got better. I was a little jealous, a little bitter that they got well so quickly. I wanted to get well that quickly, but they're all ready to go in life. They're all set to go play. They feel all better. Someone told me it takes moms longer to get better because they're so busy taking care of everybody else. Which I can see how that's kind of true. Alright, so this is the medium brown. And I'm just going over that dark brown I did with the medium. And for hair, I apply in strokes of color. So instead of small circles or smooth, transitions, I'm actually letting the texture show a bit with strokes of color. And then get the light. The light color, which is orange. Brown and orange, by the way, are the same thing. Brown is just orange with black added to it. If you ever look at a color wheel, you can notice that. That's pretty. Give her a nice bit of variety in her hair color. But I still have that texture, that hair texture. I like it. And then when everyone gets sick, you ever notice it's not just everyone, being sick. There's cleanup afterwards. There's laundry, you gotta clean the house. It's not just taking care of the people. There is a whole process to the recovery. Okay, she has some nice warm hair. That's nice. I think I'm gonna push the highlight a bit with my white. Get a bit of shine in her hair. I over sharpened this white pencil. A little too exuberant in my sharpening. I was too excited about coloring today. There you go. Little fun texture. Emphasize the highlights a bit. There we go. Alright, next is skin tone. So I chose a dark, medium, and light, but then I also chose a red, just to give her sort of a rosier look in some parts of her skin tone. I don't want her to be as pale and pallid as me today. And black out my shadows a bit. That baby goat is so cute. Okay, there's one dark. Now we get the medium. How's that blending? That looks okay. So now, instead of applying the color in the lines, the dashes, like I did with the hair, I like to do small circles instead. And that way it just applies a little bit smoother and it blends a little bit smoother when you don't. So here, you can see the artist's hand, but on the skin texture, I want it to be a bit smoother, so the small circles means you don't really see the artist's hand as much. You don't see the gesture. Go right over the dark blend my colors together right on the paper. I'm so excited to be coloring. Nice. Look at that. We need it to come up a bit up there. I wanted to make sure that I could do this video, so I scrambled to get laundry done so you guys don't hear my laundry going in the background. Alright, here's the light color. So I had to rush to do my chores so I could play with markers and colored pencils today. But I really needed to color. It's very therapeutic for me. Coloring is my reward for adulting. Alright. This color is light peach, and it is my go-to color for lighter skin tones. I use it to blend the other colors together. It's a light pinkish sort of color. It's good for a lighter skin tone. Not my favorite for darker skin tones. I use a completely different color palette with darker skin tones. And if you go back through my videos, I have a whole tutorial where I just focus on a dark skin tone, which I love. I love luscious dark skin tones. But for a lighter skin tone, this is what I usually go with, that light peach. Alright, gonna make her a little rosy now. Just on the cheeks, around the eyes. And this is a bit of an awkward angle, or different. You know, usually when you're coloring people, they're looking straight out or off to the side, so you have a nice sort of profile or a 3/4 view. You don't get a lot of coloring pages where they're looking down, kissing a baby goat. So you have to, I think, pause and think a bit when you're coloring just a different angle that you're not used to. If you want to be realistic, how are you going to make it realistic? How are you going to make it interesting? There's a bit to think about when it's not your standard go-to angle. And that crunching sound is my cat eating, because cats don't care what you're doing. They'll do what they want to do when they want to do it. And that is the nature of cats. Very similar to the nature of 3-year-olds, I've noticed. Alright. So there's the red. And the problem, of course, is it has to blend. So I'm going to go quickly back over and push some shadows and blend a bit. And I didn't use a crimson red. I'll go back with all the colors here, my dark, medium, and light, to get that red blended. It's more of an orangish red. It's not a super bright red. Not like a cherry red. But I really hoped that this shade of red would look well with the other skin tone colors that I'm using. And I thought she had to be rosy. I mean, she's kissing a baby goat. Chances are, you know, she's outside. Possibly working out in the sun. What's that phrase? Sun-kissed? A little sun-kissed. She's gonna have some rosy cheeks going on. And then the light peach for that final blending with the small circles going over the whole thing. It's amazing how just applying the color a different way, you know, small circles instead of dashes, can make such a big difference in the texture and the feel. I try to not press too hard when I put down my first layers of color, so that way I can keep going back and add more layers of color if I want to. It's nice so I can sort of push shadows and also highlights. So that's why you shouldn't go too dark too fast. Well, I'm gonna wipe my nose. I'm sorry, guys. We knew it was gonna happen. All right. Okay, next, take that white pencil. She's a fair-skinned lady, so we're gonna give her some white highlights with this white pencil. Not too much. Just some white highlights to really give a bit of contrast to the darker areas on her skin. I like contrast when I color. I think it makes the whole image visually more appealing when you have a nice bit of contrast between dark and light. Let's see. This is why it takes me forever sometimes, because I'll just keep going back and adding layers of color. I'm not a fast colorist. All right. That's nice, right? Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to the shirt. I have to keep moving a bit because my kids, like I said, they've bounced back. So they're out right now, but they're out playing with others. But you never know with kids. I'm an on-call mom. You know what I mean? So I have my phone on in case there's any sudden kid notifications I need to get. So we're just gonna get moving here. I mean, moving, right? As quick as I can. Which is not very fast. Let's be honest. Okay, so I chose a dark, medium, and light for the purple as well, just like the skin tone and the hair, dark, medium, and light. So I'm just softening that dark purple underpainting that I already did. Doing my little circles again instead of the dashes. Sort of bridging between the dark and the medium tone. Then I'm going to take the medium pencil Oh, that's nice. Yay! I chose a good medium tone. You never know, you know? Especially when you're not, you ever notice when you're not, you know, at your A game, you're not feeling absolutely 100%, and you try to do something, even if it's something, you know, you've done before, or something you do many, many times, sometimes you can just sort of not do a good job, drop the ball. And I was a little worried when I chose this medium tone. I wasn't sure, but I like that. I like that bright medium tone. That works well over those purples. Woohoo! This is also when I do my experimenting with color. So, say tomorrow, you know, someone sends me a custom portrait order with a dog wearing, you know, a shirt, you know, with these similar colors. I've already practiced, you know, this color palette now with these pencil colors. So this is play, but also for me, this is kind of a good way to test color palettes, see how colors work together. But let's be honest, it's mostly just play. I can try to rationalize it and say that I'm working. I'm doing research right now. But we all know that it's mostly just playing. And that's okay. All right. So we have a dark, a medium, and a sip of water. It's very important to hydrate. All right, and now we have the light. A very, very light purple, which I'm gonna see with my little circles. Yeah, it blends. So I wanted the dark and the medium, or the dark and the light to veer a bit more purple, so have a bit more blue in them, I mean. Whereas the medium tone, a bit more red. I thought that might be a fun blending of colors. And they seem to play very well together. It's very fun. I know, I shouldn't just say purple. I mean, what the heck? Purple is blue and red together. Have to be a lot more precise than that in describing colors. That's nice. That's a fun play of color. Get some good blending there. Wow, that really pops. Nice. Since she is so many, you know, earth tones, I really wanted her clothing to stand out a bit. And yes, it's my phone dinging because, like I said, I'm a mom. I can't turn off my phone. I have to keep it on in case the kids need me. So she's earth tones, you know, her skin, her hair. I made them very earthy. Again, I was very much thinking, you know, farm girl, earth tones. But I wanted her shirt to pop a bit more. And that is fun. Especially with all these folds in the material. It's a great opportunity to play with color and lighting. That's why I do that. I actually do that a lot when I draw coloring pages. You ever notice I like to draw materials? I like texture, ribbons, any opportunity or chance to play with lighting. Play with lighting and texture together. I think that's also why I like to draw animals so much. There's a lot of texture, you know, in their fur or feathers. Skin is nice, but it's very smooth. I like texture. Things you say. Skin is okay. But isn't fur better? Isn't fur more fun to color? Just gonna go back. Again, I didn't go too dark too fast, so this way I can go back and push some of my shadows. Get some extra blending in with the pencils. Really want, again, the folds in the material to stand out, so gotta really push shadows and highlights, again, contrast, to make that happen. There we go. That medium tone really pops. Look at that. What is this? What color am I using? Processed red. Okay, cool. Again, I will write down all the colors in the video description. Got more over here. Oh, and if you hear that, that's the garbage truck outside. It's garbage day. I did that too. I got the garbage outside this morning. I am just rocking this adult thing today. I'm very proud of myself. And I got the recycling out to the end of the driveway today. That is one chore I do not enjoy, is cutting down cardboard boxes. I don't know why. I just don't really enjoy it very much. But I force myself to get it done. And got it to the end of the driveway. Okay. So, because I've been doing my white highlights, I'm going to do that again here. Just get an extra sort of pop of white. Thank you, garbage truck man. Yeah. And that's really gonna just get a bit more, again, contrast between the shadows and the lights. Alright, so we got the girl set. I'm making good progress today. I'm very proud of myself. And I'm going to reward myself with another sip of water. Alright. Next is... Here we go. Ready? Look at that. Next color palette. Already planned out. I am owning this today. Alright. Next I'm going to do the goat. And the goat's going to be a little more yellow. So, and yes, I'm using a heavier paper because of the markers. I print out my coloring pages. I am very particular about the paper that I use. I like really thick, more cardstock paper. And I'll put it in the video description too, so you guys can, you know, get the same paper if you like. But even with this thicker paper, it still bleeds. I mean, I layer a lot of colors. I put a lot of layers of marker down. It's gonna bleed through. That's just the reality of it. So this is the cardstock paper. This is just an extra bit of paper I put underneath to sort of catch any bleed through of color. And it doesn't really bother me much. I guess I just sort of accept it's the, you know, the nature of the medium that I'm using. Marker bleeds, just like paint. You know, say you use watercolor paint, it's gonna flow a bit more easily because it's water based. Oil paint, it's gonna take a long time to dry because it's oil. Acrylics faster, so you know, faster to dry. So just depending on the medium that you use, I don't know, I just think it's okay to just sort of accept, you know, the nature of it, because there's pros and cons to everything. And I like using the markers with colored pencils. I find it very enjoyable. Look at this cute little goat. It's not a very bright, like sunflower yellow that I'm using here. The yellow tones in this goat are very soft. I'm actually doing a dark, medium, and light for this little dude. There we go. How cute is that little face? I'm sitting here and thinking, you know, I'm bragging about all the chores I got done. You know what I didn't do? I did not get the playroom clean. That did not happen. There's always more to do. Okay, so there's the underpainting with the goat. Next, I'm gonna do some of these leaves, and I'm gonna do red and blue. I kind of planned the palette, guys. I kind of did plan it out. I swear. I didn't just jump in too much here. But I also kind of didn't. You know what I mean? I was just so excited to color today. Okay, so this is where, again, that fine marker tip comes in handy. You can see here with the leaves, you know, they're quite a bit smaller, not so forgiving with space, so it's kind of nice to have a fine tip that I can use instead for coloring this in. And I chose pencils to go over these colors, but I'm not sure how they're gonna play out. You know what I mean? Alright. So let's see here. This I'm gonna do I'm thinking blue, 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 blue? No, red. And that'll be a two-tone red, blue. We'll do two-tone red here. Okay. And I have a hair on my, you know, definitely not my A game today, guys. Okay. Then red, blue. We're gonna do red, blue, red. Let that be blue. And then blue. We're getting there. Blue. And blue. And I made the two sides similar, but not exactly symmetrical, because I don't really like symmetry too much. I like slight differences in a design. When I look at the two sides, I think it visually makes it a lot more interesting and fun. So you'll notice when I'm going back and forth here between the two sides and coloring the two sides, they're not exactly the same. I fiddled around a little bit with some of the details on each side when I drew this design. But down here I was kind to myself and I didn't mess around too much with it. Alright. Almost there. I kind of think of these as googly hearts. So I like to do kind of wobbly designs or shapes sometimes instead of, strict precision, stencil style shapes. I think they're more fun sometimes. I call them googly shapes. That is not precise terminology, but that is okay. Okay, so we have the red, and now we're going to go with lighter red, also known as pink. And blendable markers are awesome for this. Look at that. Beautiful. Little variety in our tones. Oh, now my cat has fallen asleep and is snoring. If anyone is wondering, the cat, by the way, was totally fine, did not get sick at all, and didn't care that we were sick, and expected to be fed on time. Every day. Alright. I love these fine point brush tips for the detail work. So useful. There we go. Ta-da! Next is blue. Come on. Go. See if I can get a bit more. Get done a little faster with the blue since I already have the red done and mapped out. That is a tight fit. All right. This is actually more of a aqua blue that I'm using. It's not a true blue. What color is this? Oh, turquoise. Turquoise green. Yeah, that would make sense. Did I mention? Not my A game. Yeah, so it's a bit of a off blue, not a true blue. Look at that. This chair creaks. I mean, I shift even a little bit and the whole chair creaks. And you don't notice something like that until it's super quiet and you're trying to do something like this. And all of a sudden you're very aware that your chair is exceptionally loud. Alright. Oh, this is definitely going faster now that I have the red already mapped out. That's nice. Alright. Then this. And then go with that lighter blue. Which end is the... Oh, there it is. Okay. Now we'll see how these go together. Very nice. Look at that. This lighter blue, it's frost blue. It's more of a true blue than the darker shade here. So, again, I was hoping they'd go well together, but still be, you know, provide a bit of contrast. So visually more interesting. With the grayscale stuff, in the middle here, I do I like the dark, medium, and light colors, but with this other design going around it, I don't have to stick too strictly with that. I can play with just 2 shades of color and have a bit of fun. Or, do 2 shades of color and go, nope, that didn't work, which I have done many times. Alright. So now we have that underpainting, underlayer of color set. Gonna get these colors here real quick for the goat. And just like her hair, I'm just doing some nice quick dashes of color. Keeping that furry texture. So there's the dark. which really isn't that dark, but it's a very light colored goat. Here's the medium. Just gonna go right over the dark, blend my colors together right on the paper. You know who did that a lot? Impressionist artists. They always blended their colors right on the canvas. And it helped their colors stay very rich. A very in the moment painting style. Yes, I like art history. I actually have a master's in art history, so that would make sense, right? Look at that. Oh, this is the light color. Blending right over the dark and medium. Keeping that baby goat fur texture. Softening the whole thing. And then, can't leave well enough alone. Just gotta go back with that darker color and push those shadows. Oh, that is nice. Look at how it pops and stands out against the purple. I was wondering if it would do that. So yellow, a lot of yellow in that baby goat. Yellow and purple are opposite on the color wheel, which makes them complementary colors. So when you put them side by side, they often help each other really stand out, because that's how complementary colors work. They're exact opposites, so that to the human eye they really pop out when they're side by side. That is fun. I'm just layering my colors. I might actually, alright, I'm going to take this really dark brown. I actually used that in her hair. Actually, it's not a dark brown. It's black cherry. Just because this eye isn't as dark as I want it to be. There we go. Yes. I went off palette a bit. Had to happen. Gonna take my white. And soften this doohick a little bit more. Little guy. especially next to that dark shadowy area right there. Really want some white contrast with the fur. I love how contrast doesn't have to be within the same subject. So that's her dark shirt, but the white of the goat can also provide some fabulous contrast. And then I'm gonna do a little white right there. Okay. Okay. Hold on. And water. Who else toughs it out when they have a cold? Leave a comment. I know I'm not the only one. Alright, so I'm going over the red. And I don't know if I really want this red. This is what happens. You know, you choose a color, you make a plan, start to work with the plan, and then realize it's not working for you. Throw away the plan. Yeah, this one works better. Okay. This color, Carmine Red, is the winner. See how quickly things change? So I'm just smoothing out the color a bit. Where they're blending, and also where I put down the marker, just making sure I don't have any strange, you know, white gaps. On the paper, I want to make sure the space is totally filled in. Then take blush pink. And that's going to, again, fill in any white gaps that I may have. Applying with little circles. Oh yeah, there we go. It's subtle. Subtle, but it works. Wow, doing two-tone really is fast. Look at that. We are moving along. Alright, so that color did not make the cut. And then, of course, contrast. How's that looking? There's a little bit of contrast. All right. Then I have, believe it or not, more. I have more pencils. I'm gonna flip this around. Not sure if you guys are gonna see this awesome action on camera. There it is. Look at that. Okay, so the rest of my colors are here. These are extras. Because, you know, I just can't make up my mind sometimes. Alright. Then, for the blue, I wasn't sure between these two colors. You could tell I was starting to tire out a bit when I was choosing my color palette for today. When I started going, I don't know, this one or this one. Either will do. I like that nice dark color here, though. You know what? Maybe I'll do those three colors here. See how that medium tone works with this. Let's check it out. So, oh yeah, look at that. That's nice. Help sort of connect that darker color to the lighter areas. Yeah, we'll go with that. And that blends in really well with that underpainting. Very nice. Yes, I talk to my pencils. I compliment my pencils. I tell my colored pencils they're doing a good job. Hey, you gotta put out, you know, positive vibes, right? Let's see. And there's that lighter color. Oh, that's fun. I think it's okay to talk kindly to yourself, you know, when you're coloring or creating art. So many people, I've noticed, are very critical of themselves when they're coloring or creating art. And I don't know, that just blows my mind because you're coloring. It's supposed to be fun and it's an opportunity to be creative. And just enjoy the moment. I think it's very important to try and be kind to yourself when you're doing something like that. And yes, you can, you know, admit things aren't working out or, you know, they're not going the way you planned. I mean, that happens all the time. But, you know, it's okay to be kind to yourself too. Give yourself props. Adapt. Work with what you got going on. All right. Speaking of going kind of crazy and weird and seeing what happens, I'm going to try and do a background here real quickly and see how this goes. So it's a dark color, emerald green. I have no idea how this is gonna go. Again, chose this when I was getting kind of tired and petered out. But it seemed like a good idea at the time. And aren't those like famous last words? It seemed like a good idea at the time. That's dark. Nice. And my thought was, you know, a nice dark background would look really fun next to all these other colors I have going on. Again, I am really into contrast between darks and highlights. How's that looking? Fun. Just trying to not be too messy about it. I originally, you know, at first was gonna do a dark purple because I thought, oh, there's already a dark purple in her shirt. But then I thought, no, that's too easy. That's lazy. Let's really play with color and see what happens when we throw green at this. Gonna be a little brave and throw another color in there and see how it goes. And if it doesn't look good, that's okay. This is playtime. I like it. That is a super rich green. Okay, let's keep going. We're not done. Got that. Just gonna try and like get all this. These precision spots we have. Just want to make sure I don't go over onto her purple here, so I'm trying to take note of where there's these tight spots. Take advantage of the fine tip marker. Get through this fun maze of shapes. And I'm kind of also getting a feel for this green here and how I'm gonna get around all of this. It's all fun and games when you plan on coloring a page, but once you actually start to do it, you know, you gotta actually do it. You have to actually figure it out, all the logistics. There we go. And yes, I'm just coloring right over the line work. It'll be okay. We'll make it work. Look at that lovely dark green. Gonna go around this. What is that? Basically a splatter shape. Nice. I like this dark green. And I like it with this red and blue. Got a lot going on in this outer design. I like these sweeping lines. That's why I'm doing a sweeping line. Go. Keep going. Wow, I put a lot of detail in this design, didn't I? Get around this heart. There we go. Yay, we got to an edge. Finally. We got to another edge. Progress. now that we're getting a feel for the green and how this is gonna go, maybe we can go a little bit faster. I don't know. We'll see. Come on. That's a good spot. Here we go. There it goes. Now we have to get back into this detail work. Come on. Oh, the rain is starting up again. Or hail. Whatever it is. Starting again. Uh-oh. You're in the way. Okay. My maul stick is great for supporting my arm and hand most of the time, but sometimes I still have to move my arm a bit. This is a maul stick, by the way. They've been around for a really long time. Artists have used them forever. Off the top of my head, I can't remember if it was the 16th or 17th century. They became super popular for artists to use. But they've been around for a long time. They're great for supporting the arm and the hand. They move around. It moves with me as I go. It's very useful. And it's very simple. It's just a round piece of wood with a ball, a soft ball on the end. And that's basically it. You can make one. If you don't want to make one, I'll actually put a link in the video description so you can go get one, buy one yourself. If you're not in a DIY, do-it-yourself sort of mood. I totally get that. Oh, we're going to another edge. Yay. I used to, long time ago, just put paper down or tissue paper, so my hand didn't smudge and everything like that. And that was good for me. It worked, but I started to notice, when I started doing more and more studio work, again, the custom portraits and coloring and all that, my shoulder and my neck would get very sore and very tired, because I was holding my arm up still for, hours while I was doing all this. And my first thought was, wow, artists back in the day must have had, necks like bodybuilders. Their neck muscles must have been huge. And then I remembered mole sticks. I remembered learning about mole sticks. And I thought, oh, that's right. They just solved the problem with a very simple solution. And I like that it's a low-tech solution too. Just so simple. Here we go. Yay, we have an underpainting. Woohoo! For the background, my reward shall be a sip of water. Even if you're not sick, you should have a sip of water right now. Hydrate. When I was young, 15, young, I did an apprenticeship with an artist in her studio. I've been doing art forever, studying drawing and all that good stuff. And this woman had a beautiful art studio. She was an amazing artist. This is a Jelly Roll pen, by the way, yellow, in case you're wondering. And she would do just amazing drawings, and I loved everything she did, of course. And she would let me go to her studio after school. And a couple other students did too, if they were into art. She was very kind, let kids just hang out in her studio. That would have annoyed the heck out of me. But she was open to it. And she let kids just hang out there and, practice art. And she actually taught about perspective and how to measure and draw realistically. I mean, the whole shebang. She was very, very open about teaching what she knew. And I just remember, though, one thing she always said was to hydrate, take water breaks, because you get so into what you're doing, you forget to drink water. And it's true. You can sit forever, being lost in the world of coloring, and then suddenly realize you're thirsty and haven't had a drink of water in quite some time. So when I tell you to go get a sip of water, I say it with love. And it's because it's what my teacher told me to do. Back when I was 15. So the green, pretty dark, but I can still see those black design lines. So I'm just tracing over them right now with this gel pen. And I figured the yellow would be an interesting color choice. And I'm just tracing the design that's already there. I'm not reinventing the wheel, making up my own thing. For the longest time, when I went to that art studio to study, she was very adamant that we had to learn how to draw in black and white before we were allowed to use color. So forever, when I went to her studio, all I did was draw black and white drawings. I was never allowed to add color to anything. Well, not for a long time. And that's hard, you know, when you're a young kid and you're eager to do something, you know, like draw, and you're not allowed to use color. I remember that was very frustrating for me. But she really wanted us to understand the basics of drawing, like just pure drawing, before we were allowed to fiddle around with color. And we used chalk. We drew with chalk, black chalk, on white paper, over and over. And in the meantime, you know, she was off in her corner, you know, just creating these beautiful, colorful masterpieces. I think that's another hard lesson, you know, especially when you're a teenager, being patient, being told you have to slow down. That's just rough to hear. There we go. She did eventually let me use color, by the way, in case you were wondering. I wasn't stuck in black and white forever. Get that a little thicker. All right. Let's see how this works. Oh, wow, that matches that dark green very nicely. I don't think it needs many touch-ups on the inside. Woohoo! All right. Just smoothing my background out a little bit. I like having a lot of the white space on a coloring page around, around the design. I think it's fun being able to have a little artistic, I don't know, interpretation, contribution, space to play. Because a coloring page, it's just the beginning of an artistic conversation. In a way, it's, someone's opening a conversation with you with their drawing, and it's up to you to, pick up the next part. It's a back and forth sort of situation. They've sent you something, and now it's up to you to continue the artistic conversation by adding color. How do you interpret the textures? What are you going to do with that white space, or any white space that there might be around the design? Are you just going to leave it white? Are you going to add color? Are you going to add shapes? For me, that's part of the fun of creating coloring pages. When I see how colorists, brought them to life with color. That's very fun for me. I really love to see how people, take a design that I drew and how they bring it to life. And colorists always surprise me too. That's the fun part. For me, anyway. You know, I think in my head, oh, I'm pretty sure how people are gonna color this. I've got an idea. And then, you know, someone comes along and goes, no, no, this is actually how this is supposed to go. And I go, oh my gosh, you're right, that looks beautiful. And it's all about, you know, color preference. Everyone, I think, has a favorite color preference. Some people really like, you know, soft pastel colors. Other people really go for, you know, dark, rich jewel tones or earth tones. There's colors that we just naturally each lean towards. And it goes by our personalities, you know, our culture. And we bring that out in our coloring too. And I think that's also the fun part of the whole, you know, back and forth artistic conversation is, you know, I'm just bringing one element to it when I make a coloring page. And I can really see people's personalities and their cultures and their backgrounds really, you know, come to life when they contribute, you know, to a design that I made. It's very exciting. I really love seeing it. Just doing a bit more smoothing. So I had that darker green colored pencil that I used before, and that blended very beautifully with that dark green marker. Now this is a lighter, more mid-tone green. So again, going to be a dark, medium, and light. Bit of blending, bit of smoothing. And I don't need it perfectly smooth. Honestly, I don't want it perfectly smooth. I don't like backgrounds that are just smooth. You know, just one solid color. That's a personal preference. I like texture. I like movement. I think visually, aesthetically, it's more interesting if there's a bit of movement and texture. probably plays back to how I like fur on animals and the texture of it all. Here's the medium. And here's the light. Yeah. I chose this light green. What is it? Pale sage. I was hoping it would be a nice light green that would blend okay with that mid-tone and still look good, you know, in close proximity to the darker green that was going on here. Get in that corner. Because, again, you never know, you know, when you're picking colors for a color palette, unless you do the color swatches beforehand and, you know, do a little testing on some scrap pieces of paper. If you're mixing your colors right on the paper and testing them right there on the paper, you know, you never know exactly how they're gonna play out next to each other. You can hope they'll play nice, or at least look fun and interesting. But these are playing nicely together. And yeah, I'm going right over my logo on the paper. And this corner. I'm gonna have to resharpen these greens before I can do another round of blending. It's always backgrounds. They use up so much colored pencil. Have to resharpen. And now you guys get to hear me sharpen a pencil. Woohoo! I think I'm gonna go with that mid-tone. That works. It's always so pleasant when colors blend together nicely on paper. And these two greens, this medium tone and this lighter green, are doing a very nice job together. Doing my little circles for smooth blending, smooth transition. Of course, since it's a big, open space, the background, I can go a little faster with the circles. I don't have to worry about detail work quite so much. Here. We are almost done. Look at that. That's another thing. I'll tell you what, when you use markers as an underpainting, they fill in the color in the space so quickly. It is actually amazing how fast this whole, the coloring page can go. Even with layering colored pencils over top, and having fun with texture and all that. You can go pretty quickly when you have an underpainting. And you still get, the nice rich colors. You can still get, a nice bit of vibrance. I love it. I have to do more of this darker grain, which means I need to sharpen. Nice. I know, I'm not talking as much. I told you I go into that zone out mode where I just want to color and get lost in the moment. It's very difficult for me to talk and color at the same time. I'm always fascinated by people who can do lots of colors and color in chats. Smoothing out the last little bit. I'm super glad that this dark green pencil matched that green marker so well. That was very nice. It's always fun when you can find a good color match across mediums. I'll also include a link to this coloring page in the video description if you want to download it and, color this page as well. Make it easy for you guys to find so you can download it too. Doing a few more touch-ups here. I know, I should just stop. Do you ever do that? You just keep going and going when you color. You just keep layering. Again, I find it very relaxing. It's very therapeutic for me. And it's been a rough couple weeks. All right. Well, I think that's it for today. Thank you very much for joining me in the studio. Remember to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss the next video, and stay creative. Bye!